everybody, I'm Merisu the Art Sheep, and thank you so much for checking out this video. And today, we are on the road to 300 speed paints. Yay! Also, my 10th anniversary of doing digital art. Hopefully, they'll be finished both at the same time, because that would be really cool. Yeah, I know this is kind of a weird video to start the road to 300, considering the fact that this is my 277th speed paint. It's not like it's my 270 speed paint or my 250 speed paint. It's 277, so kind of weird number to start out. But I wasn't going to start on my last video because that was like way too long, and I didn't really think about it until my last video. So, yeah, we're gonna do it here. Anyway, for the first Road to Speed Paint video, I am going to be doing Akiza Azinski, or Aki Izawa, from the anime Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's. And okay, two things. One, I never got why they changed her name. Akiza doesn't sound any more American than Aki Izawa. Like, it was just kind of a weird name change in my opinion. It always kind of baffled my mind, to be honest, on why they picked that. It just didn't make sense. And also, oh my goodness, okay, so I don't think I've ever drawn Akiza once in my life. Maybe traditionally a long time ago, before I even started my YouTube channel, so way over 10 years ago. And if I did, I don't even have the drawing anymore, so I do not think I did ever draw her. And yeah, I can understand why. She was a lot harder than I thought. The thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters is that you actually don't realize how detailed they are until you actually are drawing them. Like, if I'm just like looking at them, I'm like, okay, cool, but then it's just like, man alive, this is actually a lot more to this design than I thought. The shapes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters are relatively simple, so I do believe that definitely keeps things a lot more easier to accomplish. But that said, there's just like a lot of little things to the outfits, and just like, this is gonna be a little bit more than I thought. And to be fair, it is probably just because I picked a really unusual angle to draw her. If I was drawing her like in a straight angle, which would have been the boring angle, it would have probably been a lot easier. It would have been probably a lot easier to accomplish. But no, I had to pick the more dynamic angle because I wanted to make this drawing look nice. But whatever. I mean, do we even accomplish our goal of making it look nice? I don't think it looks bad, but it could have looked way better. I was hoping it would have looked way better. I saw this one fan art of Frieren by an artist named Mark. I do not remember the last name. It was somebody who goes by their real name. And I want to say it was This is not me looking it up right now as I currently speak. Where the flying flip is that folder? Mark Burnett. I just subscribed to his YouTube channel. Got really good videos, and there's this fan art that he made of Frieren, and that is definitely what inspired this piece. And what I was kind of going for was it of her just kind of holding her Black Rose Dragon card up in the darkness as she looks very coldly at you. Because, fun fact, I really loved Akiza when I first saw her. And then later on, when I started going through my I hate Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's phase, I really hated her. So I went through a really strong I hate Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's phase because everybody just kept on overpraising it and then trashing Zexal, and Zexal was my baby. Zexal still is my baby. My child. But that said, everyone always praised 5D's, and like, everyone was saying, oh, 5D's, it's so dark and mature. Zexal, it's so goofy and funny, and it took so long for them to introduce Kaito, and it took them so long to get to the main character, and blah, 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 blah. To be fair, I think a lot of people actually look really fondly back at Zexal now, but in the moment when Zexal came out, because by the time I got into Yu-Gi-Oh!, Zexal was just in the middle of the World Duel Carnival Cup, if I remember correctly. I definitely know the dub was, which was a little bit behind. I just forget how behind it was. By the time I got to watching it, the episode when Haruto is kidnapped by the Arclight brothers, that was the episode that was airing. So that was the time I got to Zexal. So I pretty much did watch Zexal live, because I watched it in the dub, and then once Zexal 2 came out, I switched over to the sub, because I didn't really want to wait for the dub. But then I went back and watched it in the dub. And now I only watch in the sub, because I can't really tolerate the dub. I have actually recently watched a couple episodes in the dub. It's fine, I guess. But I do prefer the sub to dub any day of the week. But when it comes to 5D's, because everyone was just kind of overly praising it, and like some of the things that they were praising 5D's for, it was just like, Zexal does the same thing. It's like, it didn't make sense to me, and I just kind of went through, I'm gonna hate 5D's now. And also, I believe I characterized Yusei as such a boring, bland character. He was a brown paper bag on fire on the sun. That's how dry he was. So, yeah. And to be fair, I still don't think he's the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist. He is what I like the least about Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's. Even to this day, I do not watch any episode with just him in it. But that said, and this is how I knew I had to probably rethink my Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's is the worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever kind of tantrum, because when I kind of took a break from Yu-Gi-Oh! And slowing down on all of them, with the exception of Zexal, I realized that 5D's was the only one I was going back and watching, and I watched it fondly, but it was also only the episodes with either Akiza or Jack. So, yeah, like I said, I really liked Akiza at one time, but then, and this was another reason why I started hating 5D's, was because I realized that Akiza's character was so shoved to the side. They couldn't do what they wanted with her plot. She was supposed to be the one, if I remember correctly, who dueled against Godwin against, or is it Goodwin? No, yeah, Godwin. Goodwin is what he's called in the dub. And she was supposed to be right there aside Jack and Yusei, and that would have been awesome. But they had to shove Crow in there at last minute, and I absolutely freaking hate it, because I do not like Crow. I used to like him, but then when I realized he replaced Akiza because they wanted to advertise black crows, I was like, well, you're on my most hated list now. I hate you. Go away. So it's just like her. And also that, and this is gonna sound so mean, please note, I came up with this opinion when I was a little girl, like an annoying teenager. I kind of started thinking Akiza's problems were first world problems. Yeah, she got, like, abandoned by her parents, ostracized by everybody in her class, and then picked up by a cult and brainwashed to do their bidding. Well, not kind of brainwashed, manipulated to do their bidding, and it was just like, that problem's first world problem. It's just like, I didn't like it because it's like, oh, Yusei and Crow, they went to prison, and they grew up poor, and they had no family. Meanwhile, she's good. It's like, I don't know what I was thinking. To me, it's just like I was playing the Oppression Olympics, and Akiza did not suffer enough for my taste. But as I started growing up, I realized Akiza's technically the closest thing that I have to what I desire in a female protagonist. She's fun, but she's also got like a tragic backstory. She's cold, she's menacing, she's still really beautiful and elegant. She wears like a gothic outfit that's really pretty. I've absolutely loved her design ever since I was little. That's the one thing that never changed. Like, I love everything about it. Like how I love characters who have, like I said, I think I've said this a gazillion times, but I love characters whose hair can be like short or up, but then they have these long flowing strands, because it looks absolutely stunning. Because overall I do like longer hair, but if you are gonna make short or hair that's put up, I really like it when you have long strands that are flowy and such. And yeah, Akiza really is like the perfect Yu-Gi-Oh girl design. I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. And yes, I'll realize later that I forget her horn clip. I totally forgot about it. But don't worry, I'll remember. I'll fix it. And if you're wondering where the color palette looks a little off, it's because I'm just pretty much directly using the color palette from, I think it's the video game Yu-Gi-Oh! World Duel or something like that. And I was just taking directly from Akiza sprite, and then I'll adjust them later after I get them like on and such, because I want to try to do something a little different with this drawing, because like I said, this is my road to 300, and you're probably wondering, okay, outside of the fact that this is counting down to 300, what does that really mean? Well, it means that all of these drawings are going to be a lot more simpler. So in the case of this Akiza drawing, I'm not going to do any fancy elaborate background, and it's just pretty much the character. And all my speed paints until my 300 speed paint will pretty much be like this. There might be a few exceptions, might not, considering the fact that I'm already running late, because this drawing was supposed to come out on March the 2nd, and it is March the 3rd when I'm recording this, so which means it will probably not come out until later today on March 3rd, or tomorrow on March 4th. I don't know. As long as I finish it, it's fine. Because, like, if I finish all my speed paints, I can upload them as long as I want. I'm trying to end for a June 30th deadline, because that is around my 10th anniversary of doing digital art. I think I said this in my Call Princess video. It might have been, like, late, May, but I don't remember because I deleted all evidence of my first speed paint. I don't even think I have the master on my computer, because I was looking around for it, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, oh crap, it's gone for good. My first speed paint is gone for good, because I deleted it on YouTube, and it ain't on my computer. At least I'm not finding it. So, not good. Not good. I probably should go back and download all my ever older speed paints, because the only ones that I have the masters of on my computer are the ones from 2023 and onward. So I'm not sure if I like that. Gonna have to look for them, because it's going to, I don't want to not own those. Of course, that won't be the masters. I don't know what happened. Anyway, as you can see, this is where I'm putting in the horn clip of her hair and such. That was another thing I just also really hated about 5D's, is the fact that, like I said earlier, they do, in addition to her just not fighting the final big fight against Goblin, which I absolutely despise, she also just kind of is pushed to the side later on. Like, she just doesn't do as much as I hoped, and she's just kind of there, and I do not like it. I think the most thing that I remember, I do not watch Season 2 as much as I do Season 1. Season 1 is pretty good, but even then, I only watched the episodes with Jack, Akiza, Carly, and Luna, because those are my favorite characters. Like I said, Yusei just does not interest me. So I'm just like, I don't watch the episodes with him, and so because of that, I just don't really watch much in Season 2. And I still don't really care for Crow's character. I'm not as bitter about him anymore, because it's like, okay, fine, Akiza got pushed to the side, but whatever, it's a shonen, you just kind of have to accept it. But it's just like, I just literally don't like him as much as I did as a kid, even if I do get past my grudge. It's just weird. Carly also got pushed to the side, but that was because her voice actress joined a cult, and the cult ended up hurting someone, and bad reputation and all that stuff, so she got totally sacked, and I hate that, because I absolutely loved her as Jack. And if anyone is like an OG Merisu the sheep fan, you'll know that Carly was the inspiration for a character called Melu Kaila. Melu Kaila became the beta version of Kyla Lacidian, my original character, who I absolutely adore and love. Yeah, you're gonna see me completely recolor this face, because boy did it look weird. Like, I was like, what is with her face, her eyes, her mouth? Nothing looks... So I'm gonna completely redo it, because it's just like, this looks off. Honestly, the speed paint probably was a little bit longer than I thought. I think it is just because of her design. I'm hoping the character I do next, who I'm not telling, you guys will have to wait and see who that is. It might be a surprise to you guys, because it's from an anime I have never drawn before at all. So this will be fun. Their design's a lot more complicated than Akiza's. Well, some ways actually yes, some ways no. So like some ways it is actually easier. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet because I want it to be a surprise. So yeah, but I'm just gonna completely recolor the face because it was just like not looking right. I wasn't sure if I should go. Like I said, I just took the color palette from the sprites from the video game, and I was just going to adjust the colors as I went along. But I wasn't quite sure if I should adjust the hair or not, because it is kind of a darkish burgundy red, but I wanted it a little bit more vibrant red. I guess that's also another thing that I, like, if I did have to say anything wrong about her design, is I wish it had probably a little bit more black. I mean, she's called the Black Rose Witch, and she got two articles of black on her entire design, and that is her gloves and her tights. I guess if you wanted to make a stretch, you could say the chain on her necklace is also black. But that's all. And I'm like, I also kind of wish her eyes were red, because I think that would look cool. Brown eyes, despite them being a realistic color, are not as visually interesting for me to draw. My favorite color to draw is blue eyes, because blue is my favorite color. But I really love doing green, purple, black. Brown's fine. It's just like it's not as visually interesting as something like the more really wild out there colors and such. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really... I think that's another thing that really kind of was a struggle with this drawing, was because I was trying to really pin down what is it I want for this drawing when it comes to the coloring. Do I want something very painted-y looking, more like the Mark Burnett drawing? Do I want it to look smooth and glossy? Do I want it to look sketchy? I'm like, I don't really know. In the end, I kind of went for a mixture between glossy and painted, if that makes sense. And like I said, it could have been better, but I don't think it's... Considering I thought it was going to be really bad, like once I started it, I was like, this is going to look awful, this is going to be horrible. And I do think I made it look a lot better. So, I am happy with that. I am happy that I was able to accomplish that. I wasn't sure if I should also draw her with her dual disc or not, but by God, I drew it and I didn't want to get rid of it. Because, no. You can't get rid of it. I really do like her accessories. The gloves was the gold, the tights was the gold, her necklace. I like kind of how it's like kind of pointy but also still elegant. When I was younger, I actually didn't like the horn hair clip and the pointy necklace. It looked a little, because I didn't really like things that are pointy. But now I would say I think it looks pretty nice. And yeah, in the end, considering the fact that I was this close to just kind of accepting that this drawing would look awful, I don't think it looks that bad. Like, I wasn't gonna quit the drawing because, like I said, on the road to 300s, and no time for that, and no time to redraw it. So I was still gonna release it, but I was just like, it's gonna look awful. It's gonna be horrible. But in the end, I stayed with it, and I fixed it. And speaking of fix, I also changed the background to this, like, dark bluish black gray background, because it looked more nice. Again, going back to that inspiration of that freehand fan art by Mark Burnett, and I added this red sparkly wave, which was very similar to that freehand drawing. And you won't see it here because I forgot to record it. I'll kind of change it to a purplish red gradient, and I'll also add some rainbow sparkles, but like I said, I forgot to add it. Oh well, it's a surprise I remember to record anything when I do speed paints. Anyway, that was the drawing. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, do all the YouTube things. If you did not, thank you so much for watching this far anyway. It means a lot to me either way. And I will be back with another video hopefully real soon. Until then, bye!